Hello, my dears, and welcome to Brother Earth Healing. Today we're going to be looking into and reading into fire energy, reading for our fire signs for the month of July, doing a little bit of a forecast and kind of, tapping in to see how we can support and heal and go through this month gracefully as possible. Just a couple of notes. I do a lot of intuitive work and healing work, and I'm an intuitive healer and a medium. So I will be reading intuitively. So it might be a little bit different than you're used to with if you tune into other tarot readers or other tarot channels. But yeah, I do connect, and these messages will be channeled messages from your guides, my guides, and just, some of it will just kind of be flowing through as I tap into what's going on. I also wanted to mention that I do have an Instagram account, and yeah, feel free to also just like reach out for anything if you're interested in going into doing private sessions with me, or just kind of want to say hi or whatever too. The Instagram account is under the same name, Brother Earth Healing, just no spaces or anything. And with that, I think we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm already kind of having quite a bit of interesting things come up. So we're gonna start with doing a little bit of breathing, and then for a minute, and offer some gratitude, and then we'll get started with our reading. So I want to just invite you to just settle into the breath and allow your breathing, allow your breath to guide you back to your body, guide you back to the space. And I'll offer a little bit of energy and offer a little bit of a container for us, so feel free to just follow your breathing. We're going to ask that our thoughts, our emotions, whatever's going on that's preoccupying us, and just allowing that to settle, just asking that to settle just for a little while. And as we begin to put all of that down, I'll invite you to just open yourself up to receive whatever messages are going to be coming through for you today. Just really open to receive. Just knowing that whatever we're resonating with, we can run with. Whatever isn't resonating, we can leave for someone else. Good. Great. Okay. So I'll offer some thanks. I want to offer gratitude, thanks, and praises, and big love for our ancestral line, both for our blood ancestors collectively, as well as our spiritual heritage and our spiritual ancestors, and asking that they be with us to support the process of healing and growth, to offer me and those listening clarity to both give and receive what we need in this time. And again, just thank you for all the support and all the love. Yeah. So with that, we'll get started. I'm feeling very odd with you guys today. I'm feeling a lot of confusion, lack of clarity. Yeah, quite like emotionally volatile. Okay, I'm feeling like there's a difficulty in this area here. There's difficulty in the heart space, I feel a little bit closed off for sure. But I feel like, you know, our heart guardians, whoever is there helping to support that process of opening up to love and letting yourself be loved and held. So I see that that is the process that's happening right now for many of us. There's this process of learning to expand. And yeah, kind of in that, taking care of and healing wounds that close us up. That's exactly what I'm feeling, yeah. With all of the readings I've done today, I've gotten the World card, like within the very first few minutes of, you know, starting to pull cards. I feel like what this is speaking to is a couple of things. One, which had been coming out in all of the readings last month. And that is that what is going on for all of us here is that we are experiencing in a very collective way that's allowing us to relate to each other more, and allowing for connections and yeah, a lot more understanding to be possible, right? To be had. Okay. As well as this sense of like recognizing natural cycles occurring, and beginning to see how we can swim with the current, right? As opposed to going against it and fighting it, which I feel is something that's happening right now, which is a part of this, you know, heart opening process, is somewhat of a fight, right? To really allow that vulnerability, allowing yourself to be vulnerable. I feel like some have had a very hard time with that in the past and continue, and that's like a long-term issue or a long-term challenge, long-term work. Okay, so there is kind of like an overview, and I think I'm being called to just start doing some spreads now. Okay, let me see. I'm feeling like doing a spread that I have not done before. Well, in this on YouTube for you guys. So let's go ahead and do it. Yeah, I'm feeling like really what's going on is a lot of conflict, like both internally, mostly internally. I feel like on the outside things are beginning to move for you, but I feel like it's really important to begin to gain more clarity as to, you know, in your emotional existence, in your emotions, and begin to do that work to heal what needs to be healed for things to flow more smoothly. And volatile, I keep hearing volatile, like you're ready to blow, like whether that is coming from things being bottled up or yeah, just not being able to express authentically is what I really feel. And maybe you feel that there are not many people, or maybe you feel like there's nobody that, you know, you can really do that with, where you feel safe, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's have and pull cards. Woohoo! What about this one? Yeah, that one's upright. And this one? Okay. Very interesting what's coming out here. This is pretty cool. Okay. Let's get started. At the heart of our reading, interesting. At the heart of our reading is 5 of Wands, conflict. It's nice to like feel into the energy, and then like when I start pulling cards, it's like so affirming, right? It's like, oh yeah, okay, I don't have to worry about like not being able to tune in and be clear, you know, like my clarity's really there. Like that's super cool to like see that again and again. And it's interesting, as I finish saying that, what comes up is like there's a real wish for that, in you. Is there's a real wish to have that clarity, and it feels like a very childlike kind of fighting, like tantrums is what it feels like internal tantrums, because there's maybe not a lot of tools to navigate like what is going on, which is very intense. And I'm feeling that that can be coming from a number of different things, and you know, in a number of different areas for you. But what's beautiful is that the tools are the same for dealing with, you know, anger, and, you know, I mean, certainly there are many tools, and they're all there to, everybody resonates with everything else differently, you know, so what might work for you might not work the best for someone else. So yeah, it's really just about exploring and finding what feels, you know, natural and right, right for you and effective for you in tackling and, you know, in taking care of yourself, right? And so what I'm feeling is like this beginning to lean into feeling good, you know, beginning to lean into overcoming like I'm feeling like saying adolescence, like I'm hearing like adolescence, like adolescent behavior, or behavior that was learned in adolescence, like a lot of like teenage angst is what it feels like, sort of. Which I think once like served you to challenge, things and to learn in that kind of way. And it feels like, but it feels like there's also been some patterning that has been taken a negative toll as well. For some of you, I feel like that's kind of been inherited. Like there have been family members who have, you know, I don't know, like not been able to take care of their emotions, and so they remain in this sort of adolescent skill level of taking, you know, like of dealing with dealing with emotions, or things like that. Okay. So that's the core of what I see going on. Okay. And so so beneath that, okay, we have 8 of Wands, or sorry, 8 of Cups in reverse. Turning away. Okay, so I'm feeling like you want to turn away from those things. Like there is a recognition of the those things that are a patterning that's immature or not mature, or not yeah, just not serving you, basically, essentially, right? That's coming from that place is what I feel. Okay, and there's this real, and I feel like this has been happening for a long time. I feel like that awareness has been there for a long time, but it's felt in the past coming up to now that kind of like your hands have been tied, or that like you haven't seen the way to break free of those patterns. And what I'm feeling is like the safety keeps coming up. Like there hasn't been a safe environment for you to really express. And for some, I'm feeling there's like some pretty deep trauma associated with this situation. And for others, I feel that it's more of, either inherited, partially inherited, or also just something that hasn't, that there haven't been tools for, or support to heal or to move past. That's more accurate, I think. And I feel like because this is where the bottled up feeling I was feeling earlier is coming from. Like there's this real wanting, right? Real wanting for that clarity, and real wanting to just live in a more healthy way, in a more aware way, especially aware of your actions and aware of others. I feel like I feel like for some there's a sense of being, there's a tendency to be a little bit self-centered and not as conscious of others, or like conscientious. We're gonna just stop there. Conscience. Oh my god. Okay, never mind. I tried like 5 times. Of others, right? And so I'm feeling like there's like there's this coming into that, right? And I think that fire signs tend to really be pretty gung-ho when they want something, right? Or like when there's a goal. And I'm feeling like there's a learning process of understanding that this process is not one of those where you just charge in, right? It's one of those that, one of those processes that, you take slow, right? And that's also less about intellectual understanding, right? Obviously, and more about emotional intelligence, right? And I just feel like that's something very different than how you're used to being, and it's difficult. I'm feeling that it's difficult. I do, though, however, feel like there's people in your life that that can support you and do that, and there's been a resistance there. And I would say, I think the advice that I'm feeling to say is that, to kind of put down the guards a little bit. Like, it's safe to put down the guards a little bit. You don't have to be like on super high, red alert. You can bring it down to yellow a little bit, and start reaching out a little bit. And as well as to like put aside your pride, or ego, which I feel is a big factor too. Really putting down this feeling of, or a mentality of, I can do it all by myself, which I can relate to. I'm actually, I have a Leo moon, so I can relate to feeling like that sometimes. And settling into real teamwork and real into community, and allowing people. I think that there's an aspect of this that's also about learning to really appreciate the contributions of others, and not feeling like, and taking a step back from, front of stage, right? Team player is what I'm really hearing a lot, really strongly, like team player, right? In the projects you're a part of, or the groups, or even at work, like allow the team to flow and go together, like going together as a team, right? And allowing the leadership positions or the direction guided by, the leaders to rotate, right? So I'm seeing this like rotating thing where it just goes where it needs to go, you know, and it's really beautiful, you know, like water doesn't have a leader, you know. There might be certain molecules that are in front at one point and then, you know, for whatever reason, like, you know what I mean, they end up in the back or below, or, you know, it's all just this fluctuating thing, and it's like this seamless thing, right? And I'm feeling like that's that feeling, right, of just being able to roll with that current. And in a way, like, yeah, support and be supported at the same time is something that, like, that feeling is kind of what you want in, like, to your life to feel like, or yeah, is what you want to feel in your life. So after we do this, I'm gonna offer some. I'll throw some cards out and see what comes out for like advice. Okay, there's already advice right here. Okay, and this is exactly what I was saying. We have the Queen of Wands in reverse. Okay. I'm picking up on more of a male energy, but yeah, I mean, he could also be, or a masculine, but also can be more heavy feminine, or a woman. And yeah, the way I see Queen of Wands is, I really love this card. Is, you know, very independent, obviously, very, very strong, and let me read into this for the situation. Has a tendency to burn bridges, is what I feel. Okay. Or frankly, maybe even like using people when you need them, and then not, like, you know, yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling. And it may not be intentional, right? But I do feel that. So what I'm feeling is that there's this recognition happening of the negative aspects of this fiery quality, our fiery quality, right? Like burning down the whole, like, you know, it's like, you know, controlled fires are great and they're really important, you know, or just natural wildfires, you know, that, you know, they control themselves, sort of like they do, it's part of that natural cycle. But it feels like there's just been this huge, like, it's really like burnt down the whole village kind of feeling, right? And then so I think that what's happening right now is really great, because it's really allowing for some space to really see from the outside looking in, and asking for others' opinions, right? And asking for that support. All starting with putting down those barriers and taking a step back from, you know, front of stage, or, you know, taking a step back. Okay. And this isn't the case for everybody, what I'm reading right now. I feel like many of you feel also very, like, inspired and very driven to, like, do some really good work right now, as well. Very creative, very, very alive, for sure. And that some of you are having I'm feeling that some are having a much easier time taking a step back and seeing things more clearly than others. I think what I'm picking up on primarily is because what I've been sharing is because that's really that those folks really need support, that are having a harder time. And so at the end of the day, I'm feeling like both groups, or like, you know, whether or not you're having, you know, whether you're having a harder or an easier time dealing with these changes, shifts, and this growing period, which I certainly feel is like, you know, a lot of growing pains for everyone, that there's a point where it all kind of where everybody will kind of be at a place of like, yeah, really having worked through it, right? And I'm feeling there's this place at the end of that feels very like, yeah, just a lot wiser and a lot more still, right? Like for sure the fire and the energy is there, but it feels more still and clear and calm. It doesn't need to be, you can be like a candle flame, right? Quite peaceful, right? Quite like controlled, focused. There's real power in that, but there's also real grace and like just beauty in this in the singularity, of a single flame, of a candle, that's still very, very capable of burning the whole house down, right? But also subtle and beautiful and, an offering, right? And so that's how I feel is like really the thing, like be the candle flame, like, learn to be the candle flame, full of energy and fire and beauty, and yeah, but controlled. And not burning the house down. And so I feel like there's this place, yeah, so I feel like, we will all kind of come to this place eventually in our own time, is what I see coming out at the end of this process, which I'm reading for this month. So, very well could be going through like some really big transformation this month and really working through a lot this month. And I think that's just kind of up to everyone, individually. And yeah, if you need any support or anything, if I can support you in any way, then please feel free to reach out, and I would absolutely love to do whatever I can. Whether that's just, giving you resources, or we have like some meditation groups that, you're more than welcome to join. And also doing, I'm starting to do some healing groups where we actually send energy, just like completely free groups, and actually teach healing, self-healing techniques, like energy work, and have a lot of other really, really cool social environmental justice workshops in the works also. So feel free to reach out and give you info for that. Anyway, so once we reach this point where we're really candle flaming it up, really resting in that, there's this contemplative period of one, really having a door open for us of possibility that we didn't recognize before when we were very confused and, hectic, feeling very hectic internally. And also, I'm feeling a real big, like, reflective period of seeing like, like, one, looking back at all of the accomplishments or achievements you've made, whether that's, just personal or in your work or whatnot, and really going through and seeing like, like what's really important to me? Like, was that really that important to me? Like, again, whether that's whatever, work or personal stuff, hobbies, is that really how I want to be using my time now that I have this clarity, a little bit more sense of direction, and yeah, like really reflecting and really saying, oh, how do I really want to use my time, which is great. Now I feel that it's important to share that I still feel, even in this period, a real sense of definitely more of a self-centered mindset. So really, and I think that there's a real invitation, real strong suggestion to do as much as you can to really broaden that and bring it out of you also, and practice doing that, and you know, seeing the situation of others, you know, especially those who are really suffering right now, and seeing how your gifts and how, you know, your contributions can support not only yourself, you know, but others, and the environment, the world, you know, too. I feel like that's a really central thing. This self-centeredness, the being real stuck in the ego, you know, having a difficult time really coming out of the ego, coming out of just identifying yourself as, you know, this person, this identity, and beginning to loosen that hold, right? And melting a little bit more into like realizing that you're part of this whole thing, this whole community, this whole world, this whole universe, you know, and that how connected you are to it, and that you're not just this thing here, right? You are all of it, you know, you are part of all of it. And seeing yourself that way more, I feel like would be very valuable, really help out a lot. Yeah. Let me see here. Yeah. I just feel like there's a real deep desire, this cutting desire to be in that place, you know, to have it all, to have the clarity, to have this, that. And the invitation is like, the message is about yeah, it's good to want that for yourself, right? Obviously, it's good to want the best for yourself. That's healthy and natural. But there's an invitation to shift your awareness and shift the mindset to include, to be more inclusive, right? That dream, that goal that you have for yourself. Also want that for others, right? Especially those that you care about, and actively strive to help others achieve that, you know, and support others, you know, not necessarily in a teacher kind of way, but more in a sense of like, yeah, just wanting others to achieve their highest, you know, their own highest goals, and their own, you know, really feeling into and appreciating, having appreciation for others' aspirations, especially if they're very noble, you know, like helping and serving others and the environment. And also there's some guidance too coming through about like really learning to be a student, really like a lifetime student, a student of life, right? Yeah. And by humbling yourself in that way, saying, oh, okay, I am the student, you know, and entering into the conversation, you know, entering into conversations, entering into interactions, and in the relationships that you have, you know, with people, with all people, in that way. Oh, I am the student. What can I learn in this situation, in this conversation, from this person? What is there to learn? What are they here to teach me? You know. And even if people aren't, because I'm hearing some of you be like, oh, people are stupid, like people are dumb. Even if people aren't intentionally, you know, they're like, you know, not intentionally, you know, offering, you know, the good word, or, you know, the whatever, you know, somehow like the wisdom of the universe, you know, universal wisdom, if we are clear enough and open enough and outside of our ego enough, we can learn a great deal from everyone, regardless of if they think they are a teacher, or regardless of whether they know that what they're saying is, you know, something potent, right? which is a real beautiful thing to experience, you know, when you do, and realize like, like, wow, like this person might not even know how beneficial it is for me to hear this right now, right? Or even aware of what they're truly saying, or what they're saying means to me, you know, and they might have no idea. And so constantly being that student, right? Yeah, that's great. I like that a lot. That's great. I'm going to pull a few more cards. I felt like that was a lot of information. I felt like that was really pretty deep into it. And I feel like also a sense of like wanting to applaud you for opening up too. I feel like I'm feeling a lot more openness as I kind of channel this. I feel like some of you are having a difficult time really finding the strength or the... Again, wow. 5 of Wands again and again and again. Conflict, conflict, conflict. Everywhere you go, conflict. That's what I'm feeling some of you feel. Everywhere I go, there's conflict. Or even putting that on yourself. Everywhere I go, I create conflict. And while there, you know, may be some truth to that, you know, we might be carrying around some heavy stuff that, you know, that bleeds into interactions, you know, relationships, situations, work. I feel the antidote or the medicine for that. It's interesting, medicine. Because what I'm feeling is that for you, it does feel like an illness. It does feel like something especially has been carried around for a long time. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Okay. Something, yeah, heart. I'm really getting heart. There's real wounding in the heart. Yeah. So I'm very sorry for whatever that is, if that is trauma or whatever, you know. And there's a lot of ways to take care of that. And if you feel like you're having a really hard time, yeah, having someone do energy work with you, yeah, even addressing more physical things, you know, to start, like, you know, whether that's getting acupuncture. So I know it's hard now to do some of those things, and, you know, we want to be very safe right now. But yeah, energy work can be very physical also, and if you're called to do that, I would really suggest it. Feel free to use me as a resource, or whoever you feel comfortable with, that you know. I think that would be helpful. Yeah, I'm feeling like really like getting folks to support you, and getting people, yeah, asking really humbly for that support. Yeah. I feel like there's, again, some pride things coming up, but it's like, you know, I feel like that is softening for sure. And I feel like the other part of the medicine, right, okay, is the foundation, right? A joyful foundation, you know, a joyful foundation, right? Having a joyful foundation, a kind and soft, building a generous, soft, you know, yet stable foundation, you know, that foundation that feels like that candle flame, you know, strong energy, you know, that energy, you know, like a hot air balloon kind of feeling, like, you know, but very like, yeah, very soft and kind. And developing that foundation so it can support you as a wellspring, right? To take care of the issues that come up when they do, and to hold that space for yourself, right? Which is a really big task. It's not like I don't mean to make that sound so like light and easy, right? It's a really big thing. It takes a lot, you know, it takes a lot of time and energy. And I feel like you would do well to ask for support, you know, about how to do that in a more, you know, detailed, in a more refined way, also a more specific way for you. Um, yeah, I think consulting somebody that does, you know, like learning to meditate and specific things that are going to help you, I think finding a mentor would be a really good thing. I'm feeling that really strongly too. And I'm beginning to explore opening up a more formal mentorship kind of thing. But I'm always open to helping support people, however, you know, and I do have like a sliding scale for all of my services. To accommodate everybody where everybody's at. Yeah, if you feel like if you feel called, then definitely reach out. Yeah, but I really feel that as the antidote. I'm gonna get a few more messages of support out for you guys from this little oracle deck that I am super duper in love with. And let's see what wants to come out here. I'm always surprised. I saw this, and I was like immediately like, and I kept shuffling. And I was like, I know this is going to come out one way or another. And it was like the first thing on the top when I pulled the first 3 cards that started poking out. Okay. I'm just kind of feeling like this is just support. Just know you're supported. Yeah. And I'm feeling like passions, you know, it says ignite your passions. I feel like the passions is what is, I'm feeling for some, there's some shifts there. Also coming back to our passions. An awakening in our heart, our deeper passions, but our deeper ideals and our deeper aspirations, right? Really awakening and igniting and awakening our deeper aspirations, which, yeah, for me, from my experience, always have something to do with serving, right? And supporting one another and growth, right? Yeah. So that's great. I feel that process happening really strongly for you and in a very intense way. So really asking for support is important right now. Okay. So what we can do, a little practice I've been doing with you guys is like just feeling free to like pause the video and just looking into the card and just asking, you know, and then having, you know, giving a response to, you know, what do you see here? Like, what is the message for you? What wants to come through? Just letting the mind settle, opening up, and just seeing where your mind is drawn, where the emotion's drawn to. What's the message for you? Feel free to pause it. Good. And we'll see. We'll do the other one just like that also. Oh, how funny. Drop your shields. I must have said that like 100 times. They're like, you know, drop your defenses. So again, feel free to pause that and really sit with it. I feel like that one is really important right now. Some transmission there, really helping to like settle. So I'm going to close there, and this is actually our last video of the week. We've already done our air signs and water and earth signs, and today Fire Friday, and I will be enjoying the weekend in Big Sur, playing music, and just having a good old time. So I'm very excited to hit the road in a little while. But thank you so much for joining me, and for sharing this space, and for being open. And again, if there's anything I can do to support, just please feel free to reach out. And if you have any questions about anything, you can always comment, and be more than happy to chat. If you could just support me by liking the video and subscribing to our little channel here, and maybe sharing it if you know anybody that might benefit as well, or just on Facebook or whatever, I would super duper appreciate that. And feel free to follow me on Instagram too, Brother Earth Healing. But until next time, at the end of the month, I do end of the month readings, reflections on the month as well. So feel free to tune into that. But anyway, thank you so much again, and may you have a very blessed month. Until next time.